Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to Soul Good. I'm Amber Marie, and this is your December 2022 Tarotscope. If you're curious about the decks that I'm using today, you can find a list of them in the description box below. You can also find links to my social media accounts, as well as links to information on personal readings and the Soul Good membership channel on Telegram. Before we begin, I would like to remind you that this is a collective reading, not a personal reading, so please only take what resonates with you. There will be a timestamp in the description box if you would like to bypass shuffling. If not, let's jump right in. We're going to be looking at what's being activated for you this month. How is what's being activated going to help you? Getting some clarity and diving deeper on that. Also looking at why is this important for your soul's journey, and getting you some guidance, advice, and encouragement moving forward. So let's see what you have going on for you this month. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, what's being activated for Aquarius in December 2022, please? What's being activated for Aquarius? Nope, that one. Thank you. It's being activated for Aquarius December 2022, please. What's being activated for Aquarius? This one. Okay, thank you. How is what's being activated going to help Aquarius, please? Yeah, okay. I was like, are those it? And it's like, yep. Can we have some clarity on how what's being activated is going to help Aquarius, please? Can we have some more on how what's being activated is going to help Aquarius? Okay, yep, thank you. That was fascinating. Do you see those ninja skills? Why is this important for Aquarius's soul journey, please? Okay. And can we please have some guidance, advice, or encouragement for Aquarius moving forward? Thank you. Wow. That was fast, and I feel like that is the only one. Okay. So let me just collect these, and we will jump right in, Aquarius. Okay. So what's being activated for you this month? Wow, you do have crown chakra upgrade, divine connection, holy experiences, and miraculous energy. Okay, so for some of you, I feel like during the month of December, you could get this higher calling, right? There's two reasons for that. One is this card, okay, and that energy that's coming through with it. But the other is that December is a universal 9-month, which does mean or indicate closure, the completing of cycles, transition, things like this. But it also is a number about service to others, okay? For some reason, I just have to pause for a moment because I feel like some of you have, for some reason, I feel like some of you have been like ill. And I don't mean ill to like a hospitalization point or something, but I feel like you have been like fighting a cold or like a runny nose or the flu or something like that. Like I just feel like either you have been like I feel like for some of you, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm sick again, right? Like I feel like it keeps coming up over and over and over. I don't know why that is. I feel like there's something there, energetically speaking, that your body is trying to tell you, but it just feels like this. Like I'm getting this feeling, and this may sound a little like too much, but I'm getting this feeling of like drainage, like constantly in the back of my throat, which I was not experiencing prior to right before I started talking about it, right? So I feel like for some of you, again, I feel like, I don't know, maybe you're like blowing your nose all the time for some reason, or something. Um, I don't know. It or maybe you've had like a lot of sinus infections or something like that. I don't know what that is, but I feel like you've been dealing with that a lot. And if that is the case, then your body's trying to tell you something. Whatever, and I don't know what that is. Like you would have to, ask God, source, universe, whatever you like to call it. I refer to it as God, and likely will throughout this reading. But I feel like God is trying to tell you something about something. What you know what I mean? And you would have to get quiet, talk to God, pray about it, do whatever you need to do in order to connect with your higher self and to be able to hear God's voice speaking to you, telling you what this thing is. For some of you, I feel like it could be, and I know this is, I don't know, it may trigger some people or something, but I feel like for some of you, this has to do with drug use for some of you. And I feel like if you find yourself, like if you've been sick over and over and over and over again, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm sick again. I feel like it could have something to do with drug use. And I mean, I don't know what that is. I don't know who that's for, but it was sitting there and I wasn't going to say anything. And then it was like blinking like a neon sign, like, no, you have to say this. So, I feel like if that's the case for you, then that is likely a sign, right? Saying like, this is not something that's conducive for you. Like, it's not helpful for you. It's not helping you. As a matter of fact, it's making you sick. So, consider that, okay, as you move through the month of December, or as you look at things you've been experiencing recently, consider that. um and I do have to say that I am not a doctor. I cannot and do not give medical advice, and I would encourage you to seek medical treatment from a professional if you feel you need to, okay? But I do feel like for some of you, if you have had this like constant issue with your sinuses, or with feeling like you have a cold, or like your sinuses are draining all the time, right? Or if you have experience with drug use, I feel like that God is trying to talk to you, right? Either about the drug use or something else, right? If you don't resonate with like, oh, I don't use drugs, I don't touch them, okay, then that's clearly not a message for you, right? It's likely something else. Like, I feel like God's trying to tell you something. So take that as it resonates. But I feel with this crown chakra upgrade, I feel like, I mean, it really feels like this divine connection part is the part that's really standing out to me the most. It's the energy that's coming through the strongest. And I feel like it's because God is trying to reach out to you. I feel like God is trying to align you with your higher purpose here, your calling, especially being in that kind of like prime time energy, if you will, of that number 9, right? Bringing forth that service to others and needing closure and transitioning, right? I feel like, oh my gosh, Aquarius, I don't know what is going on with y'all, but I'm like, now my nose, like just one side of my nose is super itchy. Like, it's super itchy. Like, it feels like I need to sneeze. So I don't know what is going on with you guys. Like, maybe you've been having problems with your nose or your sinuses or whatever, and y'all need to address that. Like, and I feel like it's, again, I'm not a doctor, but I feel like it's something energetic. I feel like your body is trying to tell you something, or God is trying to tell you something. There is something that is going on that needs to be dealt with. It needs to be addressed, right? Which is why I feel like it keeps showing up, why you keep finding yourself experiencing the same symptoms over and over and over and over again. And for some of you, this has been like an ongoing thing. Like, it's not just December or not just November, right? It's an ongoing thing. Like, I don't know, or maybe on and off in your life, but definitely an ongoing thing. Because it is like, it's bothering the shit out of me, if I'm being completely honest with you. So I feel like you would know, right? Like, if that's for you, you'll know. But this divine connection, anyways, is really standing out to me. And I feel like, again, God is trying to align you with your purpose, with what you're supposed to be doing here. And I feel like that could mean that you are receiving communication from your higher self, from God, from the angels, etc., in your dream state. You could find yourself experiencing like, actually, I'm being reminded of my oldest son sharing something with me. He was like, so there I was just minding my business. And for him, he'd never experienced this before, which blows my mind because I can't remember a time in my life that I haven't had this internal dialogue taking place. Okay. But for him, this is the first time it's ever happened to him. He's like, there I was minding my business, doing my own thing. And all of a sudden there was like this voice in my head that was like, you should watch Twilight. And he's like, what? Now, I'm not saying that that's going to be your experience, okay? But you may, especially if this is something that's never happened to you, it may take you by surprise. It may be something that you're like, what is going on? Right, but I feel like you have this, there are these things that are taking place internally, like intuitive these intuitive messages or this internal dialogue, because maybe you haven't labeled it as your intuition or as God or whatever, but you could be like getting things like that, like, oh, you should do this, and you're like, what? Who's like, what? Right? And I feel like that is, God or your higher self, your spiritual team, your angels coming through to say, we're trying to align you with your higher purpose. Taking this step is what's going to do that. Now, I feel like I need to clarify. There is a big difference between hearing God speak to you and hearing your ego, right? Because your ego is something that is very critical, right? It's criticizing. It's like a thief of joy, okay? So if it's something like that, or if it's something like, oh, you need to do this because or else this is going to happen, right? So if it's coming from a place of fear, your ego, those sorts of things, like, and feel free to do your own research on this as well. But there's a difference between the two. Okay. Usually the information that comes through from higher self, from God, from creator, source, all of those sorts of things are messages that are full of encouragement, and you can actually feel within your being yourself get excited about it, get like feeling it ignite within you, right? Giving you a burst of energy, a burst of joy, a feeling of peace, a feeling of love, a feeling of comfort, of hope, right? So I think that's one way that you can distinguish what's what. But again, feel free to do your own research. But I do feel like these things could be coming into you or dropping into your awareness during the month of December. Because again, I feel like it's trying to align you. I feel like God is trying to say, like, you have such a um, grander purpose on this planet than the one that you've been living, than the one that you've been doing, right? And especially if you've been numbing yourself, and no judgment, right? Like you're going to do whatever you're going to do. It's your life. You're the one that has to live it if this resonates with you. But, especially if you've been abusing substances, like that's going to keep you from your purpose. It's going to numb you to the like feeling, right? And in order to be able to be of service to other people, you have to be willing to feel things. I mean, it's that simple. Okay. So I feel like God is trying to talk to you through the month of December. I feel like you could be hearing certain things, right? Trying to align you with your purpose. Yeah, you have here as well memories of Atlantis, spiritual acceleration, progress, and technology. So, what I want to say about this card to start is that I feel like, how do I word this? For some of you, I feel like you could be resistant to this. You may feel like things are moving within you, or I don't know, maybe things seem to happen like really fast, in a sense of like hearing things, right? Like within your intuition, messages from God, like getting these nudges about, hey, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, right? And then for those that align with that, I feel like things could happen really freaking fast, right? And this is why these are being activated. It's like if you take the opportunity to step into this new way of being, I feel like things could just take off. Like I feel like for some of you, it could really just feel like your life changes very quickly. And it's all about getting into that alignment, right? Or maybe, there could be too, for some of you, maybe you started hearing these things, um, or experiencing these things like prior to the month of December. And then as you move through December, that connection with you and God strengthens, which could create a window of opportunity, right? For holy experiences, miraculous energy, and things feeling like they pick up pace, or you get into alignment and things just kind of happen or flow or seem very like miraculous very quickly. Um, for others of you, I feel like you could be resistant to this because things are trying to happen fast. I feel like God is trying to put you in a position where you need to make a decision so that things can start changing, right? So I feel like that pressure, while it may feel like something's being done to you, like God's being unfair, like you're being punished, like the world is against you type of thing. What's really happening is God is trying to put pressure on you and apply that so that you have to move from the space that you're in currently, right? From the way that you've been living your life, carrying yourself through day to day, right? I feel like God is trying to apply this pressure so you have to move. Okay, and I'm going to read this card for you guys. I just feel like there's something else here, but it definitely feels like for some of you through the month of December that you could be making what I would refer to as like leaps and bounds. And it may not be something that shows up in your external reality, but I feel like you could potentially feel differently within your own being, feel differently with how you move through life day to day. Okay. So it says here, legend has it that Atlantis was an advanced civilization that existed thousands of years ago in the center of the Atlantic Ocean. Its people were highly evolved and had many spiritual gifts. They were telepathic, extremely psychic, and known for their ability to combine the laws of science and spirituality to develop technology and create heaven on earth. But somewhere along the way, many of them stopped respecting their gifts and spiritual connection. Their disrespect for the earth and ocean caused a great cataclysm that brought their civilization to an end. The Atlanteans, who had continued to live with spiritual integrity, had an awareness of what was to come and were able to achieve full ascension and move beyond the physical realm to that of light. They are now a congregation of evolved souls who, like angels and masters, work with those upon planet Earth who are following the ascension path in alignment with devotion and love. If this card comes up for you and has a strong energy or seems familiar, it's a good chance that you are a former Atlantean who didn't honor your spiritual connection then and are being given an opportunity to avoid making the same mistakes now. You are being transported through a gateway to connect with ancient Atlantis. Know that by drawing this card today, you are receiving blessings from the Atlantean Council of Light, who are dedicated to the evolution of the soul. You are becoming aware of your gifts, and this is an exciting time, but also a time when the energies of your ego can become loud and obnoxious. Know that this gateway is appearing to remind you to stay aligned with the highest good and rooted in the energies of devotion. Then there can be a great coming together of the human and spiritual, and you can live in a more evolved way. Right? So, super fascinating, Aquarius, because, like I was saying, I feel like you could be having or experiencing this things that you haven't before, right? Experiencing hearing God, experiencing hearing that internal dialogue, your intuition, right? And it's because like you're meant to be on this path, right? You're meant to be evolving. And again, there's even a nod, if you will, to what I was expressing earlier about how it feels like God is trying to pressure you into moving into a different way of being, right? So how is what's being activated going to help you, Aquarius? So first we have here patience. You are able to let the universal energy of transformation move according to its own loving rhythm. I mean, here's the thing. It's interesting because when I turn this over, I feel like I feel like this is going to help you because like these activations are going to help you with patience. And there's a reason for this. I feel like part of that is because your faith, or rather God is trying to renew your faith, your sense of faith, your faithfulness. And really, faith requires patience 100%. It really does. It requires patience and trust. And I feel like when I flip this over, I like almost had this like eye roll moment, right? Because I feel like there are very few of y'all who are actually patient. Okay, I'm just gonna call it like I see it. And I feel like some of y'all struggle to be patient for sure. I actually can see someone, and you may do this, right? So if this is you, there's 100% something in this reading for you. So say for example, like you are with children, whether they be your own or someone else's, doesn't matter. You would be the person that's like, come on, let's go. Let's go. Move it, move it, move it. Like, hurry up. Come on. Get it done. Let's go. Or even if someone's having a conversation with you, you're like, get to the point. What's the point? Right? Like, that's how I'm seeing it. So if that's you, there's definitely something in here for you. But I feel like this experience, right? This connection with this renewal of faith and hearing God and listening to God and being obedient to God, I feel is going to help you to become more patient, not just with yourself, but with other people. Okay. You have spontaneity here. You move beyond the constraints of the mind and freely and lovingly embrace new situations. Interestingly enough, Aquarius, I feel like some of you don't really struggle with being spontaneous. Especially when it comes to like traveling or like, things like that. Like, I don't know. For some reason, I just don't feel like some of you really have that problem, right? Because I feel like there's a very kind of like childlike nature to many of you. And so it doesn't feel so much like you have a problem being spontaneous. However, I feel like that spontaneity comes with restrictions. Like, I almost feel like the spontaneity has to be on your terms. Does that make sense? I feel like that could make sense for someone. Like, yeah, I'm willing to be spontaneous, but only if I'm the one being spontaneous and roping everyone else into my spontaneity. I hope that makes sense to somebody. Because I feel like there's something here about, remember how I was talking about like God's like, faith, with faith in God, like it requires you to trust, right? And be obedient and be patient. And like when God says like move left, essentially, it's like, okay, we're gonna go left, even though you don't know why, even though whatever reason you're going left may not become apparent to you for like 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, 5 years, right? Like you may have no idea why the hell you're doing it. And I think that's part of this, right? Because I feel like some of you might struggle to do differently than what you've been doing. Right? It's so freaking fascinating to me because it feels almost like this control. Like it's weird as shit, Aquarius, because it's like I'm totally okay with flowing with the river if I can control where the river goes. I don't know what that's about, you guys. Somebody might understand that, but I just feel like I feel like there's something there. There's something there, and I feel like this is being activated to help you to not require that level of control, so that when God says move, you move. When God says go left, you go left. When God says sit still, you sit still and be patient, right? Okay, yeah, and for some of you, I feel if you don't resonate with the like I need to control the spontaneity, I feel like some of you, the spontaneity has gotten out of hand. Like you will literally just, and it's like, I don't feel like it's spontaneity is in the sense of like, okay, God says go left and it feels spontaneous, but you do it anyways. I feel like it's like things that are not beneficial to you. Like it's like following your ego. Like, yeah, thank you. I'm seeing it as almost being impulsive versus being spontaneous, right? In the sense of like someone's like, "Oh, come here and let's do this thing." And it's not anything that's conducive to your growth or to your well-being or anything like that. It's just something to do. And so you're like, "Yeah, okay, I'll do it." Right? And even if it's detrimental to you, even like again, even if it's not something good for you, right? And for some of you, this could again have to do with like drug abuse or alcohol abuse or you know um, abuse of your body in some way, shape, or form, or something like that. Like I feel like this level of spontaneity is trying to teach you something different, is what I feel. Take it if it resonates with you. If not, leave it where it's at. You have gratitude here as well. So yeah, here's the interesting thing about this. For those of you who feel like you've been already developing a connection with divine creator, source, God, whatever you call it, and are strengthening that through the month of December, I feel like this has been happening. Um, how do I word this? I feel like this has been happening again to teach you patience, to teach you that spontaneity, to let go of control, to follow God. And I feel like when you do that, you likely will experience what would seem like a miracle, right? Things just kind of working out. Um, and that could be big things or little things. Like it could be something as simple as, oh, I really hope I get a parking spot in the front, and then you do. Or it could be something big like, oh, I really hope I get approved for this house, and then you do, right? So I feel like these things are happening, or these things could be happening for you, and I feel like it's going to show you in a way of, okay, being patient and trusting God and having faith and allowing it to move me, right? Allowing it to um, align me with something bigger than myself has brought me to this place where I experience what just feels like good luck, what feels like miracles, what feels like blessings. And I feel like you could look back on your life and say, wow, like I really wouldn't be able to appreciate this in the way that I do had I not experienced all of the things that led me here. Right? It's very interesting to me. This says, you fully appreciate the invaluable lessons that life lovingly presents to you. Right. So I feel like this connection with God could also, through the month of December, help you to be grateful for the things you experience and to change the story. Because for some of you, I feel like even if it's not like a victim kind of story where you don't see yourself as a victim, or you don't often portray that space, or that type of being, or that way of being, rather, I feel like, how do I word this? Like to some degree within your own, how do I word this? When you analyze the situations or the experiences you've had within yourself, right? When you think about it, um, not when you're talking about it with other people, but when you think about it on your own, I feel like there are things that's like, why am I always in this space? Why does this happen? Type of thing, right? And I feel like this could be moving you out of that energy, right? Showing you like, hey, these things happen to teach you something, right? You also have harmony here. You are able to feel a loving, balanced connection with everything. Yeah, I feel like this experience, experiencing God in the way that you may be able to experience it throughout the month of December, I feel like could help to bring a sense of harmony, of hope, right? Like that's kind of what I was picking up. But I feel like this is meant to be moving you into a different space of harmony. Because I feel, I don't know, it really feels to me, Aquarius, that some of you have been in one way or another, whether that is alcohol or drug related or not. I feel like to some degree or another, there are a few of you who are listening to this who have not felt harmonious, loving, balanced connections with people. As a matter of fact, I feel like there's a good handful who have been numb to a lot. I'll say it I'll say it that way, to a lot of things, right? And I feel like this, you know, divine connection showing up, this crown chakra upgrade, I feel like is trying to help you to reconnect, or rather reestablish that connection with everything, because I feel like for many of you, you've been numbing it out. I don't want to feel it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to nothing. I'm just moving forward like it doesn't phase me. And in the reality of it, it really does. And I think, you know, for those of you who resonate with um, being, you know, detached, impersonal, or even relying on, you know, alcohol or drugs to make you feel like you can get through life, you know, you will, like, you may resonate with that, right? Like, it's like, no, I don't want to feel the things. So I feel like this connection with the divine is trying to help you to reestablish that, right? To show you that you are connected with everything, and that it's important for your overall well-being to have a loving and balanced connection with the things around you. Let's get a little bit deeper on that. You have the Hermit in the reverse. This is an energy, first of all, of essentially being isolated, feeling lonely, withdrawing from people, or what is the other word? Fearing, yeah, okay, so like withdrawing from people, or fearing rejection, or loneliness, or rejecting people, right? This is really like in the upright, it's about taking time to yourself in order to hear yourself, right? To get introspective, to kind of deep dive, right? To know thyself, as it were. In the reverse, it's essentially like, oh, I'm just isolating and withdrawing from people because I don't want to experience people. I don't want to deal with people. I don't have the capacity to deal with people. I'd rather be, or not, I don't know if it's I'd rather be alone, but it is definitely choosing it so that you don't have to face the potential of being lonely, right? Like, which is really, it's such a weird freaking way to be. And I've experienced this myself, right? But it's so weird. Like, I don't want to be alone, so I'm going to withdraw from people, right? Like, whatever. Because I feel like some of you have been experiencing this way of being where it's, how do I word this? Like, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I don't want to be alone, but I don't know how to be close to people either. And if I get close to people, they can leave me, and that can hurt. And so I would really be lonely. Whereas if I choose to be alone, then that's my choice, and that doesn't hurt. But it does. But it really does, right? And it's more of a fear that you're running from versus, you know, choosing to be alone. Like, I'm just saying, it's that fear of loneliness and rejection. So I feel like this is trying to help you move past that by, I feel like, aligning you with something bigger than yourself. You have the 10 of Wands here, which on this card says oppression, right? And here's the thing about the 10 of Wands. The 10 of Wands is a card of burdens. It's a card of carrying burdens, right? Like, if you look, he's got all of these wands on his back, and like, he looks tired. He, you know, like, he looks beat down. And again, it's oppression. So there's these burdens, right, that you've been carrying energetically, that have been piled upon your back. And I feel like this is all happening. God's like, take responsibility, right? Be patient with yourself. See these things, but take responsibility so that you can put them down, right? So that you can move forward with much more ease. That's how I'm seeing this. You also have here the 5 of Cups. And I'm getting some fear energy. Okay. Is this in the reverse? Okay, hold on. I'm just going to do one of these because I don't know which direction it was supposed to be. So, Lord, please let me know which direction would you like me to pick up this card in. Okay. Yep, in the reverse. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so 5 of Cups in the reverse. This is happening for you, right? This is being activated for you in order to help you find acceptance, in order to help you to find peace and to help you move on, to move forward, to put these things down, right? And again, here's the thing. If you look at this, it says loss in pleasure. I don't know if you can see that because of the ring light and the glare and my camera not focusing. I don't know if you can read that, but it says loss and pleasure. And like I was saying, right, like some of you have, I feel, have had, you know, situations where you've utilized or used drugs or alcohol, right, in order to help you to feel something in a weird way, which is so weird because it like numbs you out, but I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't know the logic behind it, really. I don't. But it's interesting that this is shown up like this. I feel like this loss and pleasure is like, I no longer feel satisfied with life. Life does not feel invigorating to me. It doesn't feel fun to me. I'm bored. The things that used to make me feel excited about life are no longer, they don't feel that way. Again, I feel bored with life, right? And so I feel like God is putting you in this situation to give you that deeper purpose, to give you that higher calling, so that you can, again, move on, find peace, right? So you're not trying to numb all the things out. You're not trying to run from them. There's an acceptance of the burdens that you've been carrying. There's an acceptance of that fear of loss and rejection, right? There's an acceptance of these things. There's a means to find peace through God around these things and to move on. And I feel like that's what God is trying to help you do, right? Trying to help you bring in harmony. Because I feel like you've been shown that the things that you thought were brought you happiness and pleasure don't. And maybe they did for a time, right? But like at the end of the day, it really doesn't. Why is this important for your soul's journey? Yeah, like I fucking said, you cannot make this up, Aquarius. You have Pleiades, double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. Like I said, I feel that God is trying to get you into alignment with your higher purpose, with that thing that is something that you have chosen to be a part of on this planet, that is being of service to other people, that's helping to help the collective in some way, shape, or form. Like, yes, we have our own personal soul missions and things that we're meant to be doing on an individual level for our expansion of consciousness, growth, awareness, all of these things. But we also have a purpose here that hasn't, I mean, it does have something to do with us, but it's for the service of everyone, right? For the good of everyone. It's not just about us. And so, again, this is happening to, I feel, to get you into alignment with that. Trust the niggle. What is the niggling feeling trying to tell you? Like I was saying, I feel like you're getting that internal dialogue, that thing that says, hey, maybe we should go here. Hey, maybe we should do this, right? Like, hey, let's go to this place. That's that intuitive nudge. That's that thing that's trying to align you, right? So this is happening for you so that you can learn how to trust that voice, right? So that you can align with your higher purpose and learn how to trust that voice, the intuition, the God speaking within you, right? This is wild. I love this so much. I love it. You have mirror, who or what is triggering you. Actually, I'm getting that some of you have been very triggered by this reading. You may have even wanted to like exit out, right? I feel some of you. But these triggers, right? Why is this important for you? These triggers are showing up to show you what you need to heal, what you need to work on, what you need to allow yourself to move through so that you can experience something different. The triggers are messages, right? It's indications from your higher self, from God, to say something here needs your attention. Something here needs to change, right? And so this is important because it's going to help you to identify, I feel, your triggers, right? It's going to help you identify them and learn how to navigate them. If you allow yourself to listen for God, right? If you allow yourself to be patient, if you allow yourself to be spontaneous enough to follow what those triggers are telling you, which, you guys, I'm going to be real with you. It's not fucking easy. It's really not. When you're sitting minding your business, right, and something happens and you're triggered, and God's like, oh, let's sit with this emotion. You're like, oh, no, I don't want to, right? No, I don't want to. But if you allow that to happen and move beyond the fears that are in your mind, you will likely be grateful later. Because why? Because it's going to show you how you can grow through that, right? If you allow yourself to move through it, to feel the things, to release it, to navigate it, to feel, in order for you to heal, you will find yourself being grateful. You will find yourself seeing those things as lessons for you, as the next step on the ladder, if you will. And it will bring about a piece, or rather a sense of harmony within you, because you don't feel weighed down by that burden, right? So these things are being brought up for you, not to you. And they're important. So pay attention to those triggers, right? And again, I feel like this is important so that you can learn how to navigate them. Yeah, you have here in Marama, where are you being called to journey to? Yeah, this is important because it's part of why you are here. Again, right? This is all happening. It's important for your soul's journey because there's something much bigger that you're meant to be doing, right? And I'm getting this message like you've been playing small. Even if you don't feel like you've been playing small, I feel like in God's eyes, like there's a lot of you that are playing small. Again, you might get triggered by that, but it is what it is. I think on the card, I think this may be Petra on here, and maybe what kind of looks like Stonehenge. So you may be feeling called to actually journey to certain places, right? That might be something that is showing up for you. I want to just read this card for you because I feel like there could be something for someone. Yeah, okay. Like, make sure I had the right book because that's definitely happened before. Okay. Yeah, wait till you guys hear this. So it says, the Celtic word Imrama means a journey of the soul, a voyage on which we do not know where we are going, but our soul knows the way. If you pulled this card, you are either being called on a soul journey or are already on one. It could be to a physical ancient place or metaphoric. When we journey to places that our soul remembers, a shift takes place, both within us and to the planet as well. You are being called to journey to a place that is sacred to your soul. Perhaps it is a journey to the world's sacred sites, or called to cross the country, climb a mountain, lie on the desert floor, or drink from an ancient well. There are places to see and old friends to meet. I see spontaneous pilgrimages in your future. Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. I feel like God said, I said what I said. Okay? If a physical voyage isn't possible, journey through the portal of your heart. Follow the invisible soul trail and be willing to explore. Maybe read a book or watch a movie about a sacred time or place. Or perhaps you're being called to study an ancient lineage or body of work. Whatever your circumstances, your soul is ready to journey deep. Like I was saying, you guys cannot make this up. There's a reason I read that. Nothing comes from nothing. right? So it's important for your soul's journey because it is literally trying to take you closer to the depths of your own self, your soul, trying to reacquaint you with who you are at a soul level. Guidance, advice, or encouragement for you moving forward. Look at this. Trust your vibes. So you have trust the niggle and now trust your vibes, right? As your guidance from the angels. So there are two cards. Again, God saying, I said what I said, of you being essentially like nudged, like, hey, Aquarius, listen to the things that you are picking up on, right? This is your encouragement as you move forward. And I feel like if you follow those vibes, if you follow those niggles, I mean, that doesn't mean you won't experience challenges, but it means that you will be in alignment with what is for your highest good, and things will progressively get better and better and better, right? So beautiful for you. So, Aquarius, that is what I have for you for the month of December. I pray that something in this reading resonated with you. If it did, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, subscribing, or commenting. It really does help the channel to grow. It tells YouTube that there is something that someone else may enjoy or may want to know here, and then they push it out even more for more people to see. So I really do truly appreciate that. I appreciate you being here and sharing your time with me. I am so very grateful for you. Thank you so much for being here. I am sending you so much love, the biggest of hugs. Please know that whatever you face this month, however this shows up for you, know that God has got you, right? God is supporting you all the way. If you should choose to believe that, if you should choose to lean into that, you could likely see that showing up in your life, right, as you move through this month and beyond. I hope that the final month of 2022 for you is amazing, incredible, full of growth and expansion and love. Take care of your beautiful, beautiful soul. I hope to see you in 2023. Bye.